Something very unique to Art of Fighting 1 that I don't think was handled as well as it was done for this game was precisely battle damage. That you could see that showing on the opponent's faces, that you would try to get around without being bruised and you would take it as a good win. Like, the presentation, it was just amazing. And how the characters interacted, there was so much personality in the interactions. They would have text that would reveal how they spoke, and they would do these mannerisms, they would taunt each other. Like, it felt like a brawl, like a street brawl, right? Like something that could happen to you in a bar or like in the streets. And the battle planning was pretty good because the characters would react differently depending on how and where you hit them. Like, for example, they would collapse to the ground if you defeated them with a light punch or a light kick, which is what would actually happen in real life, as opposed to if you defeat a character with a light punch and they would go flying away. Like, that makes no sense. But in Art of Fighting, they handled it properly. That was very well planned, I gotta say. What do I think that Art of Fighting brought to the fighting game genre? Well, one of the most important things is meter management. Meter management is part of the most important strategies that a fighting game fan has to put on the table when fighting in tournaments in the 21st century, right? Like, right now, it's in the form of EX moves or skill bars or max bars or whatever. There are all these peripherals for skills that you need to manage. But back then, you only had one bar, and that was used for all the specials. And your opponent would taunt you to make you lose your concentration, so you couldn't use the special skills. So I thought that was very interesting. Also, another part that made Art of Fighting very unique was that there was this sense of progression, almost as if it was RPG-like, in the sense that if you train hard enough, you could gather, a higher spirit bar, or a higher strength or health bar, or that you could even master a new skill that would change the game forever. Of course, everybody who knew anything about that game knew that the first thing that you had to do was master Haoshokoken, right? You had to go there. You had to go train to that dojo and beat that dummy. You had to test your strength, and it was amazing. Like, there was a sense of progression to the thing. And I don't think many games had that at the time, and even if they did, they were just for bonus scores, right? And this game, it actually influence what would happen later. If you did all the trainings right, you could expand your health bar way too much, or your spirit bar way too much. But Haoshokoken you could only do once, and you will learn it for the rest of the game. And I thought that was amazing. Like, the game is not static at all. It evolves even within the course of the same game. And that is something that is lost in many games, during that period. They did it right, and then they forgot later. And even in many other SNK games, it's not something that happens. It's not something that happens in most Street Fighter games. Like, the fighting game genre in itself, it's very self-contained, it's very static. Like, there's this tournament, people fight, somebody wins, and that's it. This game, it had progression. It felt like it was not static at all. That's what it felt like. Art of Fighting was not a static game. It progressed even within the course of the same game. And that was pretty special to me. I felt that it was very well planned out. That's why I liked it so much. I think that many games should take note of what that game did back in 1992, right?